How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the second installment of Subscriber Showdown, where you guys send in pictures and videos of your cars for me to review and to tell you what I think you could do on them in the future. If you want to see your car or a friend's car on Subscriber Showdown in the future, follow the instructions in the description and you'll be able to enter the car and have me talk about it. For the sake of this video, I've taken the next 5 cars that were sent in to me, so now we've done the first 10 cars basically. That just keeps things fair and makes sure that everyone gets a chance to be on the channel. But I really do need some more entries, so get your entries in this month so that I can have them for the next month's episode or whenever I get on to doing the next video. Before we begin, a massive congratulations to Stephen for winning the last episode with 38% of the vote. Very, very nice. He had the VW Polo 9N that was made to look like a WRC car. Massively bad news, that car was ultimately crashed, which is quite sad, but he's in the process of putting it back together and turning it into something different. So good luck to Stephen, and hopefully the window sticker that you win will complement the car, I hope. Topic of the week this week: what is your least favorite modification on any car? For me, it's got to be neons. I hate neons under cars. I just don't think it looks good. I've never seen a car that actually looks cool with neons on. Obviously that's just personal preference, so if you love neons, I'm sorry, it's not about you, it's the neons. Let me know what your least favorite modification for any car is in the comments down below. As always, remember to like, comment and subscribe, but without further ado, let's get into the video. Starting us off, we have this Audi A8 W12 from W12 DMK on Instagram, and though he didn't send in much about the car, it's pretty cool to see that someone actually owns this W12 beast, as in 2018 there were just 40 of them on the roads here in the UK, making this an exceptionally rare car. And when I say someone actually owns this car, he's actually moved on to an Audi A6, which apparently he'll be entering for a future episode. The A8 puts out a massive 443 brake horsepower, taking it from 0 to 60 in around 5 seconds, all thanks to its 6-litre W12 engine. The economy figures are pretty poor, around 20 miles per gallon. You certainly wouldn't miss this A8 with the old school Audi Sport colours up the side, which is a wrap he got for his birthday. But what I think is way more interesting than the exterior of the car is that interior. This car was made for wafting. Check out that mini fridge in the back, it is so sick. I might need to see if I can put one in my Polo. It still also has the original car phone spot as well, which is pretty cool, and by the size of that centre console you'd need a megaphone to be able to speak to someone in the passenger seat. They'd be so far away. As he's already sold it, not much point me giving any advice on what to do in the future. Maybe I'll get a chance to do that with his A6 in a future episode. But in terms of my opinion on this, I think it would definitely be cool to own a car as rare as this, and it's definitely an insane sleeper, but I would definitely be fearful of my wallet if anything went wrong, or if I had to go to a petrol station. Anyway, thanks W12 DMK for entering. On to the next one. Next up, we have 2 cars sent in by Kieran, his 63 plate Vauxhall Corsa D limited edition and his friend's 53 plate VW Polo 9N. 10 years apart, but still ideal cars for younger drivers, as I mentioned in a recent video. The Polo is sitting on lowering springs and has a front grille replacement with a red GTI line that I was actually considering for my Polo, and some custom split rims that I think almost always look good on a 9N. It also has a rear light swap for the 9N3 lights, which I hadn't actually seen before, so fair play on that one. And the only thing that I'm not really a fan of with the grille swap is the little semicircle left in the bonnet where the VW badge should be, and I understand the pain as I couldn't find any nice grills that had the VW badge still in them, hence I made my own. Other than that, he's done a really good job here for sure. Comparatively, Kieran's Corsa D has no modifications other than the wind deflectors, though prior to this he had a Polo 9N3 with plasti dipped alloys, a GTI grille swap on the front including fog light grills, and he replaced the red GTI line with the blue one, similar to what you see on the Golf GTE. Kieran asked specifically for recommendations on this Corsa, and because it's a limited edition, it is actually quite a nice spec with the black alloys and the almost sunset orange paint. I'm definitely a fan, and I actually quite like the more OEM look on it. If I was playing around with it and I didn't want to spend too much money, I'd paint that front rubbing strip either to match the rest of the car or in black to match the alloys, and I'd also dechrome it by painting the chrome badges in the front grille part in black too. Maybe also remove the Corsa and 1.2 logos from the back of the car for a slightly cleaner look, and I haven't really got any pictures of the interior, but I'd probably then move on to having a look at that. Maybe the dashboard, because I feel like in Corsa Ds there's plenty of room for wrapping to gain some kind of consistent theme, maybe even bringing the orange from the outside in. Of course, feel free to ignore my suggestions, but I feel like that might be a good place to start with turning the car into something even nicer in the future. Thanks Kieran for your submission. A stark contrast to the previous one, but an insane submission nonetheless, is this brilliant black 2015 pre-facelift Audi RS6 C7 from Matt. It's the 4-litre twin-turbo V8, but Matt has added new plugs, a new air filter, a cold air intake, and a custom exhaust setup which helps it to put an additional 30 to 35 brake horsepower on the stock 555, and upping the torque figures even higher than the 700 Nm mark it had from the factory. Unreal for a 4-door estate, even if this is a certain kind of estate. On top of this, he's also had a crackle map for that ridiculous sound. A lot of time has also gone into restoring the paintwork and interior, which I think really shows, and from factory it was optioned with the dynamic package, so it has a top speed of 175 miles per hour, as well as those 19-inch gloss black alloys, grey calipers, honeycomb leather RS Super Sport seats, sports exhaust, and all the other essentials you'd expect in terms of tech. And that brilliant black external paint I mentioned is kept safe by a G-Technic protection all over it, which is definitely well needed. Matt bought the car last year due to a long-standing love for RS6s and doesn't daily it. It's done about 5,000 miles in his ownership and hasn't put a foot wrong as of making this video. His plans for the future are to get a stage 1 remap to take it to around 685 brake horsepower and 900 Newton meters of torque, which is utterly, mind-bogglingly, unbelievably ridiculous, and I'm so jealous. On top of this, he's going for a KN suspension kit with a 30mm drop on the back and 18mm on the front, as well as spacers all around and some Michelin Pilot cups, which other RS6 owners seem to rate as giving the ideal mechanical grip. I mean, what can I really add to this? This car is sick. What's been done to it is sick, and the plans for the future are sick. All I can say is congratulations to Matt for winning the car game, and please let me drive it one day. Thanks very much for entering. On to the next one. Back to something I'm a little bit more acquainted with now, and here we have Elliot's VW Polo 6R, which is not only his first car, but the car he learned to drive in, hence the learner plates in some of the pictures. Having passed his test, he decided to upgrade it a little as it's the basic S model, and trust me, I know what it's like to have a basic model of a Polo. He bought a set of OEM 6R alloys painted black, and I think it really does actually make a massive difference to the car while keeping that OEM feel. In the future, he plans to paint the badges black and tint the rear windows to carry on the black theme, which all makes sense, and he doesn't plan to do anything in particular on the engine. He would like to do some cosmetic changes to the car though, and for some reason he's asked for my opinion, so here we go. I think the 6R is a really easy car to bring up to date, as my best mate currently drives one. Either paint or buy some wing mirrors to colour code into the car, as it's just a small feature but goes a long way in my opinion. Also, some nice LEDs on the front for definite, and maybe the rear too wouldn't go amiss. Consider maybe some day running LEDs. I think the 6R would be a much more modern looking Polo with those lights. The car looks like it sits quite nicely on the alloys already, but I reckon maybe a small drop of around 20 to 30mm tops would look quite good, so maybe consider some lowering springs if you want to go cheap, or change the whole suspension setup for something that will handle better than the original Polo. It's both aesthetics and handling on that point. One final point I'd mention is the interior. Hopefully you've seen me swap out my seats for GTI ones, and you can so easily get GTI seats for the 6R, it's insane. Front and rear, and even the door cards if you really want to update the look and feel of your car on the inside. I can promise you it's very satisfying. Thanks very much for the submission, Elliot. I really like the Polo, and please keep me updated. And last but certainly not least, we have Scott's 2007 Ford Fiesta Zetec S, which has the 1.6 petrol engine putting out around 100 brake horsepower. Not bad for a little run around like this, and he mentions it's quite a nippy little car with great practicality. It's also been reliable in the year that he's owned it, with only a light bulb going. He's done well on insurance at £800 for a 19-year-old with a black box and 1 year's no claims, though he plans to get modified car insurance in the future to do a little more to the car. So far, Scott's only tinted and stickered the rear windows, which I think complements the car quite well, and he has a new head unit with speakers and LEDs. He plans to get the wheels sprayed black, lower it, get a new air intake kit, a new back box exhaust, and possibly a remap, all of which I think are great shouts as long as the spraying is done well and the lowering is done tastefully, which I think is basically either too much lowering or just a little bit of lowering. Anywhere in the middle is kind of no man's land. I've always thought the Zetec S is one of the cooler first cars anyone can own if they can afford the insurance, as it does look quite sporty, and I do like Scott's one in black. My suggestions would be to first sort out the front grills, both the bit with the badge and the lower bit. Even if sorting it out just means getting them painted gloss black to match the body of the car, I think this would make a massive difference. Also, just based on that interior, it looks like you go for a bit of a black and red theme, so consider maybe bringing out the red a little bit more in some of the smaller features around the car. I know it's cliche, but red calipers might look good on this bad boy, just don't go super bright red and it will look better. The interior is one area that I think all Fiestas could do better with too, so maybe wrap the center console in some carbon or bring out some more red in the door cards. It seems like you've got this swaggy red dashboard but then nothing to match it elsewhere, when you could definitely get a theme going. And one thing I just hate about Fiestas, my dad's car is the same, I really don't like the gear boot. I think that is so grim, and that's just personal preference, so maybe change that to something that's prettier, or a nice leather one would look good surely. All in all, another great submission. Thanks very much to Scott for entering. You thought we were finished, but no, we have a bonus entry. One of my friends thought it would be hilarious to send in their hire car from when they went to Macedonia, and she's asked to be named Wheels with Mills, the fellow YouTuber, although she doesn't have a YouTube channel, and I'm just doing this because she'll hate me if I don't. So you can clearly see it's a Ford Fiesta, and these are what she has to say about it. Apparently it's bluer than the deepest ocean, burns losers at red lights, left-hand drive for extra pizzazz, American engineering, Macedonian charm, and eligible for Albanian roads. roads, always crossing borders. Her plans for the future are to overtake me on the Nürburgring, and apparently it has an emoji air freshener. I mean, what can I say? It's an excellent car, very well hired. Just a shame that you'd never pass me on the Nürburgring. Thanks to my new YouTube rival, Wheels with Mills, particularly for modelling the car so well. So in this video, I'll run you through 5 cars sent in by you guys, as well as an additional bonus car, so I hope you had a little bit of fun with that one too. Remember that if you want to see your car on this channel, definitely have a look in the description and enter it, because I am more than interested to see any car. I don't care what it is. If it's a car, then it can go on Subscriber Showdown. It's as simple as that. Don't forget the topic of the week. Also, give me some feedback on my new microphone, because I just bought it because my old one broke whilst trying to record this video. As always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.